Hello and welcome to I Can't Say It Day 300. Holy Moses, smell the roses. It has been 300 days since the first video where I stood just over here to my left with the intention of losing weight and practice speaking to a camera. That's really what it amounts it to be. The question is, am I getting any better with speaking to a camera than I was on day one? And I have to say, probably doing okay. It really is just a matter of gathering your thoughts and knowing what it is that you want to say. I didn't really do that in preparation for this. I did spend like maybe a few seconds thinking about what I was going to say, but I'm like, because when I did this before, on day one, I would stand. Sorry about the light. I would stand and I would do the belly roll. Look at that. I got to lose all this weight. Oof. Anyway, so I am down 30 pounds or so. It's a little less than 30, but progress is progress, right? We're not gonna get down on anybody because they didn't hit their original goal of a pound a week for 52 weeks. But still, progress is that. The point is to lose weight. The point is to be healthy. The point is, to live a long, healthy life. So if losing 30 pounds so far is what I've done, then I have made progress. I do have, there's still the possibility of rejoining a Toastmasters club. I do have to do some open enrollment presentations coming up, and I should start to get back into the habit of writing speeches and practicing them, because I actually got a kick out of doing them. I don't know if it was the delivering or it was the writing. Part of me thinks it was the writing, that I like doing the writing, because when I watched my speeches that I was giving, sometimes they were kind of monotone, and that just sort of happens because if you think about when you're talking, when you're up in front of a group of people, you have to think about all sorts of different things. What are my arms doing? What's my face doing? Am I showing the right expressions? Am I walking back and forth? Am I looking at a PowerPoint presentation? Am I looking at everybody in the audience? What is it that I want to say? Am I using the right pitch? Am I using the right tone? Am I using the right inflection? Am I enthusiastic about the items where I need to be? Or am I talking too fast? So you have all these things that are going on through your head. And so practice saying words like so, really is a skill that needs to be developed and practiced and cultivated and refined. So I need to get back in the swing of things. So I need to find out what my Toastmasters progress was and get going to a Toastmasters club. Because otherwise, speaking in front of camera is all I'm going to be really good at. And if I can't, take it to the next step, which is improving my ability to speak in front of a group of people and have those, let's say, canned phrases, at your fingertips so that when you're in front of a group of audience, you can pick out the appropriate choice, because I don't have that skill. And I know I don't have that skill. That when I'm up there and I'm talking about anything, speaking extemporaneously is something I don't really do well. And it's because, sometimes when people have these phrases, I just think they're canned. They're just don't have, what is it I'm trying to say? They seem obvious. They seem, like they're put in there. Because when you're talking to for example, when you're talking to somebody, people will, sometimes when you hear the first part of a phrase, you know what the rest of the phrase is going to be because you've heard the phrase that many times. It's like language is frequently peppered with the same phrases and commonalities that it's not as interesting as you would like it to be. On the other hand, you really can't have novel conversations all the time. That I guess there does have to be a time when you have to talk about something in such a way that isn't entertaining. It's just talking, just communicating ideas. But it does make you wonder, is there a way that talking about things can be engaging, can be interesting? Because I've been in meetings where I'm like, I'm bored, silly. It's like, why are we talking about this? Why are we spending time talking about this? And it could be that nobody's thinking about, you know what, we can make these things more interesting. I mean, if we're talking about paying our field service engineers, $20 versus $10 for traveling, that, that the meeting could have been more substantial other than, what it was, which just seemed to be like a free-for-all. So, I'm starting to think, that if I am in charge of meetings, that I need to make them just a little bit more focused. That way people are engaged, people know what's going on, people can make a decision, that it's not, this big cloud that has no shape and that you have to form it to sort of get to a certain point. It's like, well, no, we can start from something that has shape and not from a cloud that has no shape. We can start from something, whether it's maybe like a block of clay, and we can form it into something beautiful, but we've already started with something that's solid, something that makes sense, and then just refine it as necessary, because that meeting that I was sitting in, I was like, oh, it could have been done better. But this is, because I've not thought about, meetings before other than to dread them and to think about how the meeting could have been better. We need to start spending more time thinking about how we can make things better, because we're not doing that. People are just saying, well, let's have a meeting. Oh, let's have talk. Let's go do this. And it's like, no, let's be a little bit more focused, more direct. Yep. That's my newest thought for the day. I haven't talked about my whole week and what I accomplished yet, and I will do that tomorrow. But one last thing, and we want to talk about, in a synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today, a gunman went into the synagogue and shot and killed 11 worshipers. I don't know exactly what they're called, but we'll just call them parishioners or people in the synagogue doing their worship. I'm sorry, I don't know what the exact word is. I'll go see if I can figure out what that exact word is. But sometimes, the exact word just doesn't come to you. And there are now, we're starting to learn about websites and Twitter pages about people who are posting things that are anti-Semitic. And honestly, my background is such that I've not been around people that are anti-Semitic. I've never been around too many Jewish people that I'm really aware of. I've not been exposed to why people don't like Jewish people. I just don't know. I think it had to go back in, a little bit of reading that I've done said that people are one of the few areas that Jewish people were allowed to participate in was commerce, and that they were able to, buy or just make money, loan money, and that tended to put people off. Exactly why, I don't know. So yes, there are things in life that I just don't know. So I have not been around either anti-Semitic or pro-Semitic people to learn, what it is about Jewish people that people don't like. Because personally, I got no time for hate. When my son uses it, I was like, really? You hate this? And he's talking about somebody who got a Pokemon that's shiny. I'm like, dude, there's no real reason to be hating anybody for that. Just like I don't think there's any reason to hate anybody for whatever religion they belong to. I don't care what any religion somebody belongs to. If that's the religion they want to belong to, great. It's their religion. It's not my religion. It's not for me to say what they want to do. They do something that I disagree with, then I can speak up and say so. However, a religion is something personal to the person. And until their actions impact other people in a negative way, I'm okay with that. It's really just that simple. I don't know that Jewish people have been doing anything to me or anybody else that would be harming another individual. I would love to learn about that, but then I would also be able to love to learn about all the other people that have harmed all the other people and say, wow, do the Jewish people have a monopoly on this? And I would have to say, I don't think so. It just really doesn't make any sense. You don't hate a group of people. It just doesn't, it doesn't agree with the way I think about things. Okay? People can look at the Republican Party or they can look at the Democratic Party and, say bad things about them. But the whole party itself is not doing these things. Okay? The Republican Party and the Democratic Party are just groups of individuals, and each individual has their role to play. And if they do something that is harming another individual, then that is wrong. No doubt about it. I know if they are doing something, I want to hear about it. I want to know what they're thinking because, hey, maybe I'm wrong. I always freely admit the possibility that I might be wrong in something. I got to find that quote. In fact, it's probably in here. I just don't know where it is. Good old Benjamin Franklin's quote. What do you think? Where do you think it was? I'm going to go July 4th. Think it's in here? Nope. How about September 17th? Constitution Day. Because he said it on this day. Oh, here we go. I found it. All right, so for those of you that don't recall, this is my calendar of wit and wisdom. It's full of quotes made by other people that I have collected and organized them by calendar date. So what you're looking at there was September 17th, which everybody knows is the anniversary of the ratification of the Constitution. And the first one is, by Benjamin Franklin. He said, I confess that there are several parts of this Constitution which I do not at present approve, but I am not sure that I shall never approve them. For having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged by better information or fuller consideration to change opinions, even on important subjects which I once thought right, but found to be otherwise. Dude lived 200 years ago, and he's saying stuff like that. He's right on the mark. People, you can change your opinions. If you have better information, you learn something new, you learn something different, times have changed, guess what? Your opinion can change. Your opinion is not stuck in one particular spot. It just isn't. Allow the possibility that you might be wrong. Think about it and then make a decision. Go, you know what? I'm still in the same boat. I'm still of the same opinion. Great. 10 years from now, you might change your opinion. John F. Kennedy quote. Not going to look for it. Don't know where it's in there. But he had said something similar that, when I get, it's just like, it was something about hanging a question mark at the end of a thought that you believe in. Just to ask yourself, does this still ring true? And maybe it requires you to do a little bit more thinking on something. So, hey, shooting up people in a synagogue is not the right thing to do. It didn't accomplish anything. I mean, you may have scared some Jewish people, but they're still going to go to synagogue. Okay? It accomplished nothing other than to make us think that there are more people. It does inform us that there are more people, that we know that there are more people out there. How many, we just don't know. But that this country needs to get its shit together. I'm going to swear. There you go. Get its shit together with respect to how we're going to treat people in this country. And starting right now, that is not going to help solve it. And our president, based on everything that he's been saying since the shooting, isn't going to solve it. It's going to be up to the people. We want our leaders to represent the people. And right now, our leader does not represent the people. The president represents his base. And maybe he represents his base. I don't even know. I'm so, I just don't get where he's coming from. He doesn't realize that he's president of the entire United States. Let me just leave it at that. So with that, I'm going to end, I Can't Say It, day 300. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, and I wish you all a pleasant evening, and I will see you all tomorrow for Sunday, day